really simple step-by-step guide on how to do the present tense in Spanish. We're not going to look at regulars, we're just going to look at regulars. First thing I want to do before we get started, I want you to think about what is a tense, and I want you to think about what is the present tense. This might be a good time to pause the video so you can have a think. Okay, a tense simply describes the time when something takes place. It only affects verbs, and the present tense obviously refers to things that are taking place now. Nice and easy. Now you may have seen the present tense before, you may not, but I want you to see if you can find 4 examples of the present tense in the next image you see. There are 4 examples, see if you can find them. Okay. This might be a good time to pause. Right. If you have a look in the first sentence, there are 2, the second sentence there are 2. Life is interesting if you eat cake every day. I always talk when we drink crocodile's tears. So, the 2 examples are es, comes, hablo, and bebemos. Those are 4 examples of the present tense in Spanish. If you spotted those, a high five for you, well done. So, the present tense. The main thing you do with the present tense in Spanish is we're going to be doing a lot of conjugating. Don't panic, don't freak out. I'm going to take you through it, step by step. So, what do we mean by conjugating? Think of conjugating like a potato. So you have your potato, and very few people like to eat potatoes raw. There's lots of different things you can do with potato. You can have it as chips, you can have it as crisps, you can bake it, you can roast it. Oh, I love roast potatoes, but you can do whatever you want, but you need to change the potato into something else. In Spanish, it's exactly the same in terms of your conjugating your verbs in Spanish. So think of it as a potato that you're changing. So you take it from the to form, so to speak, and you change it, so you change your potato into I speak. So when you get stuck about conjugation, don't freak out, just go back and think about our potato. So you're changing it from the to speak to the I speak. But you're not just changing it from the to speak to the I speak. Can you see if you can figure out who the other people involved are when you conjugate a verb? Because you don't want to say to speak, you want to tell the person who you're talking to who's doing the speaking. So you have I speak is the first one in the top left hand corner here. So we have I speak, and we have you speak. Now this you is you singular, so if you're talking to one person. Then you have he speaks, she speaks, and it speaks. And then over here you also have we speak, you plural, or more than one you that you're referring to, so if there's a group of people you're talking to. And then finally they speak. And in Spanish, it's not I, it's yo, tú, él, or ella. Now you'll notice here that there isn't a third one for it. That's because él and ella can mean he or she, but it can also refer to it. If the noun, that's the thing that you're talking about, is masculine, you say él, and if it's feminine, you say ella. Here, nice and easy, yeah? Then we have nosotros for we, vosotros for you plural, and then ellos and ellas. Again, because you could be referring to a group of masculine nouns or feminine nouns. So to form the present tense in Spanish, so we've looked at when you use it. So you use it to describe things that are taking place now. Now we're going to look at how you form it. The good news is, guys, is it's really, really easy to form the present tense in Spanish. All infinitives in Spanish, and infinitives, remember, we just mean the whole potato, so the to speak, to run, to eat. All of them end in AR, ER, or IR in Spanish. What you need to do to form present tense in Spanish is you cut off the AR, the ER, or the IR from the end of the verb, and you add the different endings depending on who is doing the action. So here I've got, the example I've given you here is hablar. Now hablar means to speak. So to change it from the to speak into the I speak form, we take it step by step. The first step is get rid of this AR. So get rid of that, and that we're left with this able. Now able means nothing in itself, but in grammar terms we call that the stem. So think of that as your pizza base. You've cut off the AR, you've got to add things onto this to make sure it makes sense, okay? So, AR verbs, the endings are as follows. Nice and easy. The yo, so if it's I doing it, it's o. If it's you singular doing it, it's as. He, she, or it is a. We is amos. You plural, ice. And they is an. Now be very, very aware of this accent here. So don't forget, if you're using you plural, you need to have the A with the accent there. Nice and easy. So these are the endings that you stick on to the stem that we saw. So remember we looked at the stem hablar, which means to speak, to talk. So hablar, to talk or speak. Hablar, you take off the AR, and to say I speak is hablo. See? Your stem plus your O ending. Nice and easy. Hablas, which means you singular speak. Have a guess at what the next one's going to be, the he, she, or the it. Habla. Yeah? And the we goes to hablamos. You plural. Habláis again. Watch out for that accent there, nice and tricky. And they is hablan. So ER verbs, the endings are, now you'll be glad to know they're just as easy as the AR ones. So it goes O for yo for the I, S, E, S, sorry for the you singular, my apologies, E for the he, she, or it. For the we is emos, vosotros, so the you plural is ace. Again, look at that accent, don't forget that. And they is N. So O, S, E, emos, ace, N. Nice and easy. So the verb comer, which means to eat, that becomes como. So you can see where we got this from. What we've done is we've cut off this ER here. We've got the stem C-O-M, com, and then we add on those different endings that we looked at to say who's doing it. So I eat is como. You eat is comes. He, she, or it eats is come. We eat, well done, you guessed it, comemos. You plural eat, comes. They eat, comen. Easy, easy. Right, let's look at verbs that end in IR. The endings are O, so you'll have spotted a pattern by now, hopefully. In every form, whether it's an IR, AR, or ER verb, to say I do something in Spanish, the verb always ends in an O. So it's nice and easy to remember. The tu is es, and the L and the AR is E. Nosotros is imos. Vosotros is is. Again, watch out on that accent. And then ellos and ellas, which means they, is N. Now you'll notice with OS, E, imos, is, N, that for OS, E and N, those are exactly the same as the ER verbs for comer. Sorry, the ER verbs in the example we looked at with comer. So they're exactly the same. The only difference with IR and ER verbs is in the nosotros and the vosotros form, the we form, the you plural form, when it's not emos but imos, and it's not es but is. So the verb vivir, which means to live, becomes vivo, I live. Vives, you singular live. Vive, he, she, or it lives. Vivimos, we live. Vivís, you plural live. And viven, they live. Right, hopefully you've got up to this point. It's nice and easy, it's not too difficult. Let's see how much you've learnt. Feel free to pause the video now and go back and check over the stuff we've already covered, but if you're ready to move on, have a go at conjugating these three verbs. Now, don't freak out. What do we mean by conjugating? Remember the potato. Remember, you're taking the to form of something and you're changing it into a I, you, he, she, we, you, or they form of doing it. Right? So remember, you're just changing your potato. You're not eating it raw. You're making it into a lovely, lovely box of tasty chips that are going to make you very happy. So don't freak out about conjugating. You're just changing it. So keep calm and conjugate the following. So you have explotar, which means to explode, escupir, which means to spit, and temer, to fear. Now you'll notice I picked one AR verb, one IR verb, one ER verb. They're all regulars. I've given you the equation of how to do it. You've got the formula, you know what to do, so have a go. Now remember what you need to do. Remember the step-by-step process. Also, because I love you so much and I'm so nice, I've already had a go at filling in some of them for you. So let's look at the first one together, and I'm going to leave you to have a go at doing it by yourself. So the first one, can you see what we've done with explotor, which means I blow up or I explode? We've cut off the AR, we've added on that ending. See if you can have a go with the rest. Now will be a good time to pause the video because I'm about to give you answers. Okay, so hopefully you got explotas, explotamos, explotan. So you can see here with the AR, you've got your EXPLO, which is your stem. Sorry, my apologies, EXPLOT, which is your stem. And you've added the different endings. So O, as, a, amos, ais. Don't forget that accent. Escupir, escupor, escupes, escupe, escupimos, escupis, escupen. I spit, you spit, talking to one person, he, she, or it spits, we spit, you plural spit, they spit. And then temer, to fear, we have I fear, you fear, he fears, or she fears, or it fears, we fear, you plural fear, and last but not least, they fear. Okay. This is a good template to help you remember how to conjugate, think of the potato, different verbs in the present tense in Spanish. Just regulars, we'll deal with irregulars in another video, but this is just for your regulars. Hopefully you found that useful, hopefully you can remember that, and hopefully you're confident with it. Take a minute now to think about how comfortable you are with the present tense. If you're not comfortable and you want to have a go at some more, try these. Be careful with the darker ones, the ones in purple. These are irregulars, but you might have seen them before. The blue and the green are regulars. So if you're not comfortable, have another go at conjugating these. So just like we did in this slide here with these verbs, and test yourself. See how good you are and see how much you can remember. Don't forget, it's just a question of practicing. The more you practice, the easier it's going to become. So let's quickly review the endings. For AR, it's O, as, a, amos, ais, an. For IR verbs, O, es, e, imos, is, en. And for ER verbs, O, es, e, emos, eis, en. Don't forget those accents in the vosotros form. Nice and easy. Step 1, just to recap, right? So step 1, find your infinitive. In this case, explotar. Step 2, cut off the AR, IR, or the ER. Go with that one. And step 3, add the ending depending on who's doing it. Nice and easy. So here's that slide again of verbs that you can try out. Not too difficult, and hopefully you got it 100%. So that is a well done from me, and that is one massive air high five for you.